Welcome to Consciousness Unfiltered. Get ready for a very different, vulnerable, and uncensored conversation with Dr. Anthony Mattis and his amazing guests. They'll be sharing the powerful tools of Access Consciousness that have helped thousands of people all over the world to create change in every area of their lives.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Consciousness Unfiltered. I am Dr. Anthony Mattis, and the topic of today is, are you listening to your body? Well, what does that mean? Well, just that. Are you listening to your body? For every pain you have in your body, every intensity you have in your body, whether it's back pain, neck pain, stomach pain, heart pain, whatever kind of physical symptom that you may be suffering from. One of the things in Access Consciousness, which, by the way, we'll be sharing the tools of Access Consciousness today, created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here. One of the things, the fundamental things we learn in the very beginning of Access Consciousness is that anywhere from 50 to 100% of your physical problems may not belong to you. And when it comes to your mental problems, about 99% don't belong to you. Well, then you probably ask, well, who the hell do they belong to? And what about that car accident I got into? And my body hasn't been the same since, or that old football injury or baseball injury or, skating injury when I fell. My back hasn't been the same since. Well, okay, cool. But what if there was actually a lot of awareness? What if there was actually different things that were going on in your life when those particular traumas actually happened? And what if those things sort of set the scenario for those particular things to happen and actually show up? The body's a self-healing, self-regulating organism. It's meant to heal itself, and it does. But why do we heal from some injuries and other injuries that don't even seem like a big deal? They seem to last with us forever, 25, 30 years. Well, one of the first questions we ask in Access Consciousness for every single intensity or pain, as you call it, or every thought, feeling, and emotion you have that may be undesirable is, who does this belong to? And then we ask a subset of questions from there. Well, is it mine? Because sometimes it might be yours, okay? But a lot of times when it is yours, it's usually a potency that you're not willing to acknowledge. Or it's you usually trying to handle other people's insanities. And so when you're trying to handle other people's insanities, is that going to create ease in your body? Or do you think your body might being taken on problems that don't necessarily belong to it? Because it's very, very difficult to release and dissipate people's insanities, people's health issues, when you're absorbing it like a sponge. Whether you're becoming a psychic SpongeBob, taking on their mental insanities, or being the healer that you are, taking on their physical problems as well, which is a capacity, by the way. And you may want to ask, how can I use this to my advantage? But most people, most healers in particular, and you know who you are, and I've seen you, I've worked with you, I've been there too. A lot of you are suffering. Your body's suffering. Your body's broken. Now, you could blame it on age, oh, I'm over 40, I'm over 45, I'm over 50, I'm 55 now, I'm 60. But you know what? Have you ever seen a 60-year-old that looked like they were 45 and a 60-year-old that looked like they were 80? Why do you think that is? And what's actually possible for you? So what I invite you to, and what the tools of Access Consciousness invites you to, is it invites you to explore those subset of questions. Are you trying to handle other people's insanities? If so, stop. Do you have a dying relative? Do you have a relative whose body is falling apart? Do you have a relative whose body is fighting disease and illness? And no matter what they do, no matter how many doctors they see, it just it always seems to be something else over and over again. And are you taking that on? Are you commiserating with them? If so, stop. Well, how do I stop? You just ask yourself, well, number one, how can I use this for to my advantage? Number two, am I trying to heal them when maybe they don't want to be healed? It's amazing when certain people get to the end of their life, all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a minute, I have so much life to live. But my question is like, well, why weren't you living it? Like, why weren't you living it? It's like, what if the only thing that matters is the next 10 seconds? If you have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life, what do you choose? You got to choose to live? You got to choose to be happy? You got to choose to suffer? Or you got to choose to get caught up in the drama and trauma of your relationships? You got to choose to reminisce about that horrible accident you had that changed your body forever, which can be undone. It can be undone. And for those of you out there be like, yeah, but I've been to everybody. No, you haven't. You haven't been to everybody because you haven't been to me. You haven't seen an access consciousness facilitator, a body facilitator. Okay. There are a gazillion healing tools out there. Don't tell me you've seen everybody. Maybe you've seen everybody in the allopathic community, the medical community, the medical model, which don't get me down that train. There are still some good doctors out there in the world. Not enough, though. When I mean doctors, I'm talking about medical doctors. There are some true, good, old school doctors who actually care about the patient, who actually listen, who are not just trying to shove the next medicine down your throat based on a symptom. They actually take more of a vitalistic approach rather than a mechanistic approach. Okay. And they don't look at their practice as a religion. They're actually true scientists that actually look at what works and what doesn't work and what's safe and what's not safe. And they're not about the bottom dollar. Do they deserve to make a great living? Absolutely. Do they deserve to get paid well? Absolutely. But when that drives them, they're not in it for your best interest. So be aware for those guys and gals. Okay. So anyway, that's a side note there. But what is your body trying to tell you? Who does it belong to? Well, if it's not yours, okay, and I know this is a hard concept for a lot of you, then who is it? Well, we invite you to look at two other possibilities. Is it someone else's or something else? Body, what are you trying to tell me with this information? If you have heart issues, how many times have you been heartbroken? Is your heart caught up in someone else's reality? Stop. Get out. It doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you don't love them. You could still have the awareness of what's going on with them, be there for them, but you don't have to go into their universe and take that on. And I strongly suggest if something like that is going on in your life, like a close family member is really, really ill, you gotta have to take time for you. And I know that's hard. It's like, oh my God, why should I take time for me? I'm the one who's alive. I'm the one who's healthy. I'm the one whose body's not dying. Yeah, I know, but your body's the one who's taking on a lot of the stress. If you don't take care of yourself, you may find yourself in a situation that's really undesirable. So get your bars ran, receive a body process, go get a massage, go see a chiropractor, an acupuncturist. Take care of your body. But what if it's someone else's, right? So what do we do then? Well, we ask you, Well, there's another question to ask. If you get an awareness that it's someone else's, we ask, okay, well, is it someone with a body or without a body? Yeah, I know. That sounds kind of hokey. If it's someone with a body, you basically return it to sender with consciousness attached. And you say it over and over and over again until that discomfort dissipates. Now, if it doesn't dissipate, then maybe you should explore someone without a body. And I've talked about this in some of my other calls. Now, what does that mean? Well, your body is a sensate sensorial organism. It's always in proprioceptive awareness of the environment around you, meaning that you are aware 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, nonstop. Your body is giving you an awareness of the world around you, seen and unseen, whether you believe in it or not. And I might do a separate podcast for that unseen realm. Okay. So if it's someone without a body, well, then I encourage you to get into a talk to the entities class, basically, where you actually get to talk to, communicate with the spirits, clear the spirits, maybe receive from them, maybe you have to negotiate. But why am I saying that? We're talking about the body. What if your body is giving you an awareness of beings that are around you that don't have bodies? And there are symptoms that are showing up in your body that mimic the particular symptoms that that being had in the lifetime prior to their death. Maybe they died of stomach cancer. Maybe they died of heart disease. Maybe they died of a stroke. You have a headache. You're having stomach problems, so you want to ask, Grandpa, is that you? Grandma, is that you? Uncle Bob, is that you? And so in the talk to the entities, and there are facilitators, there's access consciousness facilitators all over the world. Go to www.accessconsciousness.com and try to find a facilitator near you, because literally we are in 170 something different countries, and there is someone who can run your bars and do these amazing body processes, and to help you to start having an awareness of what's actually going on in your body. What if your body's an information resource center, giving you information constantly? But the more you ignore it, the more it's going to be knocking on that door, trying to get your attention. And then it shows up as a symptom. So much so that it may even show up on a lab test or in a diagnostic from a medical doctor. What do you do then? Take the pill, which is fine. Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. But what if there are other options? What if there are other alternatives? So we ask, who does this belong to? Is it mine? We looked at that. Is it someone else's? If it's someone with a body, you return it to sender with consciousness attached over and over again until it dissipates. If it's someone without a body, well, it could be some relatives or maybe non-relatives that are hanging around you. So you may want to ask, is this related to entities? And if you want to explore how to really master that part, like I said, you may want to go to the Talk to the Entities website, and or you can check out my website, because I'm a Talk to the Entities facilitator at www.dranthonymattis.com, and we can explore that area as well to see what that would create for your body. Excuse me. And then the third component is something else. So what's something else? Well, something else is typically the earth requiring an energetic contribution from you. Now, we can get into other different things, but we're just trying to keep it simple. So all you simply do is you get that awareness of that intensity in your body or your mind. And if you get that it's something else and it's related to the earth, you just simply do some like 1, 2, 3s and kind of like just throw your hands down to the earth. And no, you're not giving the earth your pain and your sorrow. What you're actually delivering is the intensity, the energetics of it. The reason why it's showing up in your body is the earth is actually asking for an energetic contribution from you. So no, you're not giving it your pain and suffering. You're just actually giving it the energy that's creating the symptoms, so to speak, because the earth is hungry. The earth is desiring for us to contribute to it. Are you listening to your body? Everywhere from what you drink, what you eat, how you move, what you wear. Now, someone may be asking, well, how do I know if it's mine, someone else's, or something else? Well, there's this thing called light and heavy. And basically, what you want to do is it's sort of like, you know, when you walk into a room and there's a crowd full of people, it's either going to feel really light and expansive or really heavy, like, ooh, sort of like that. Okay. So when you ask that question, is it someone else's? You're like, yeah. And you get a quick little pop, just go with what pops. Don't overthink it. And if you're not sure, go through all three. Look at all three. What capacity am I not willing to acknowledge? Because when you don't acknowledge your capacities, you store all that energy and it shows up as pain. If it's someone else's, it's not yours to fix. That's why when you go to doctors or holistic healers and all that, it doesn't get better. Why? Because it wasn't yours to fix in the first place. You're just being psychic SpongeBob. And then if it's the earth, you just give it back to the earth, because one thing that a lot of people walking around this planet is we don't pay enough attention to our beautiful planet. We just take from it. We're destroying it. You don't think your body is aware of that? I was just talking to my son not too long ago. He's like, yeah, my friend has these stomach problems. I'm like, oh, okay, that's too bad. And he's like, she drinks every day. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. He's like, you think that might be causing it? I'm like, drinks what? He's like, well, she drinks alcohol like every day. And I'm like, okay, well, how much? He's like, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 4 drinks a day. Well, some people can handle that. No big deal. But it wasn't something she wanted to look at. She wasn't interested. She's like, no, it's not that. So what she's doing is she's looking at all the other things it could be. I mean, last minute I checked is that none of us are born with a deficiency in alcohol. Is it fun? Yeah. I like to get a little buzz there from time to time, enjoy a couple glasses of wine. Don't get me wrong. But you got to ask your body, hey, body, does drinking, 3 to 4 drinks every day, does it actually work for you? Not from a judgmental standpoint. I know plenty of people who've done that and they live happy, healthy lives. You got to look at what actually works for you. Are you listening to your body? Yes or no? Body, what are you trying to tell me? What do you really want to eat? What can I eat that would be a contribution? How can I move that would be a contribution? Are you exercising too much? You might look good, but are you in tons of pain all the time because of how hard you work out? So I invite you to visit those questions. Who does it belong to? Mine, someone else's, or something else? And use those tools for a while. And after you've been using those for a while, see if you can find an Access Consciousness bars class. Just go to the website, accessconsciousness.com, and just type in your state and your town and city and see if there's facilitators and get yourself to a bars class. We actually learn how to defrag the brain. One of the greatest modalities that exists out there. And get to a body class. We learn how to receive kind, caring, nurturing, healing energies. that creates this space of possibilities. Anyhow, thanks so much for listening. Please listen to your body. Don't listen to me. Listen to your body. And hope to see you in person someday soon. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. If this conversation has been a contribution to you, please share, subscribe, or leave a review. For more about Anthony, please come visit DrAnthonyMattis.com. And if you'd like to know more about the amazing tools of Access Consciousness, you can go to www.accessconsciousness.com.